What is up, everybody? This is Johnny,
And this is Crash.
and this is Tactically Prepared. Let's get it. What is up, everybody? Happy New Year. This is Johnny and Crash. We're coming from the Tactically Repaired stage, at least at my side, and in St. Augustine, Florida. What is up, brother?
Oh, man, all good stuff. Life is good.
Yeah.
Can't believe 2024 is here.
Yeah, I know. Thank God.
Thank God.
Man.
23 was a shit year. Brutal.
It's in the past. Dude, I just got to say this. I just got a meme, literally just like 2 seconds before we went on, and it said, it's a meme that says, my new booty shorts, caution slippery when wet.
Oh, man.
Dude, I can't believe that guy's going to buy those.
Oh, man, it's part of the new PT uniform.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, shit. All right, man. Well,
it takes the place of the PT belt. You're good to go.
Right. Yeah, there you go. So this is the first show of the new year. We want to kick it off right. We've got a little bit of equipment on either side now, and we're going to try to get this thing going. You know, hopefully we'll be doing a couple episodes a month. And the big thing is like trying to get some live episodes going on, so that way we can, hear from the people that are actually watching us and supporting us, and bring them some live action. Maybe we can get some questions from them. So
yeah, that'd be awesome. Absolutely. Would love that.
Yeah. So let's get into it. All right. The first topic I really wanted to bring up today is, especially for the soldiers, man, we got all these young privates coming in and, young Marines and stuff like that. They're getting out of basic. The only reason I can say that right now is, my nephew just graduated from basic training. He's in his blue phase for 11 Bravo. I was supposed to be graduating. This
Nice.
is kind of a message to him.
Good
Stop
deal.
marrying strippers.
Oh, man, just don't do it. They do not love you.
Don't love you.
They love that TRICARE, though.
Oh, yeah. And those benefits. Guess what, though?
Yeah.
They do not love you. Okay? Take your time. Develop a relationship. Right now, you're a private. Just worry about being a private. Worry about being that E1. Worry about getting your stuff together so that way your E5s and E6s don't have to, scream at you every 5 seconds.
Yeah. That's going to happen anyways. Okay?
I mean,
at least it did when I was a private.
Right. I mean, we've all been there, man. We've all been there. We've all done that. I mean, you're going to make the mistake no matter what. I mean, some of us are in our, post-second marriage, and I'm post-first marriage. But it's not worth it.
No, it's absolutely not worth it. And, you have enough challenges, and you're going to struggle mentally, emotionally, and especially financially. And when you add in a factor of, I'd say 90% of the time, a partner or a new spouse that isn't really contributing financially, and then they expect all this stuff. You've got privates and specialists who are upset that they can't get the nice housing on base. And that stuff is reserved for guys who are like E6s, and they've already devoted 15 years of their life to the service. They don't need it. They're not handing that shit out to somebody who's like a year 2 private. Just sorry, you got married. Congratulations, but you don't expect to have all those extra benefits, and just go, oh, well, I have a family now. No, you don't have a family. You have 4 stepkids, 3 different baby daddies. Yeah. Dude, congratulations, but
right.
That's one of my big red flags that I tell people to look out for. No offense to anybody who has experiences with better, but in my experience, that's a big red flag for me. More than one baby daddy, she ain't loyal. Gotta go.
I mean, to be honest, if you have multiple kids with multiple spouses, I really think you should lose your right to vote. I heard that from a comedian once, and I kind of stand behind it. You really can't make sound decisions.
Right, right.
Got,
you disqualified yourself.
If you got 4 baby mamas, 5 kids,
right?
I don't trust your decision making.
Right. You have poor judgment. Absolutely. Yeah. And, right. So wow, right, it definitely goes both ways. You can't just say it about baby mamas and baby daddies. It goes both ways.
Yeah. So right here, I got there's a law firm out here, Sally and Sally. They have a little bit of divorce statistics for military personnel.
Okay. This should be interesting.
Okay. Out of the 4 branches, because we don't count the 5th one or the 6th one.
There's not a 5th or 6th one.
Okay. Who do you think is the number one for divorces last year? The 4 main ones. I'm going with
Army.
You are wrong.
Really? Was it the Marines? Was it the Marines?
Wrong.
Wrong again?
It is the Air Force.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Who do you think has the least divorce rate from that year?
Okay, then in that case, I'm going to go with the Marines.
Wrong.
Again, wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually the Navy, and I don't understand that. How the Navy? Nobody's home. You can't get in a fight if Jerry's not home.
That makes sense. Okay, that's a reasonable and sound argument. I can go with that.
Right. Yeah. So first place is the Air Force. A little over 3% divorces happened last year from the Air Force.
Is that all? That's pretty good.
2.2. Well, that's just last year. It's not based off of 10 years.
3% of the Air Force got divorced in a year.
Right.
That's wild. So it's kind of high when you look at it like that.
Right. But also the Marines came in at second place with just over 2.4%. Army came in at 2.1%, and then Navy came in at 1.8%. So it's all. I mean, Air Force is a little bit higher, but then again, it's like looking at some of these other statistics.
So maybe it goes back the other way, where the guys in the Air Force are spending too much time at home and not enough time actually working, which is generally the consensus.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's why they're having a little bit more problems, because they have to look at each other too much, the spouses and the service members. Right. That's rough. That's rough. I thought for sure the Air Force would be strong. I don't know. Cool.
And then out of those divorces between the 4 branches, enlisted was way higher than the officer. That's not shocking.
Well, that's not a shocker at all. Yeah.
No. Duh. But the one thing that is kind of surprising is the military females divorced males at twice the rate that males divorced females.
That's not surprising at all. Have you seen the statistics?
It was double.
Over 75% of separations and divorces are initiated by women in general.
Right.
So none of that's surprising.
Yeah. It was 6% of divorces that were started by the females in the military forces across the board, and it was like 2.7%
initiated by
2.7% for the men, which is kind of surprising that it's that high. I mean, when you're looking at it like a 66 to 33%, if you look at the national average for men and women getting divorces, women initiate over 90% of the divorces on, the civilian side. So seeing that the men kind of do it a little bit more, I mean, I guess, the Jody factor has a little bit of say in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, who initiated your divorces? If you don't mind. I know this kind of touches.
That's a little personal. Gosh,
my gosh, we're on a podcast. We're sharing our lives to, 5
it's a little
people,
personal,
so.
Right? Gosh, I haven't even thought about it in a long time. And the second one, I guess I did. The first one, it was kind of mutual, and she told me to get the fuck out. But
Yeah.
I was kind of mutual, so
Yeah.
everybody has a different experience, and all these things are just so difficult to deal with. It's so important to remember that big mistakes are made, and that nobody's perfect, and nobody has the answer. And because everybody's situation is so unique, and so you have to just respect it. And it's always unfortunate.
Okay.
But it's always unfortunate. I hate to see it happen, but sometimes it
Yeah.
really needs to happen.
Yeah.
As in the case of, I guess both of mine.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a choice in mine. Mine was predetermined for me.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah. It was kind of one of those things like, guess what? We're going to meet at your parents for dinner. Oh, wait. No, you're meeting at your parents for dinner and you're staying there.
Yeah. I mean, like, I distinctly remember being told things like, I came home from being gone for 6 months for training, and I was a young lieutenant, and my partner, my wife, telling me, I liked it a hell of a lot better when you were gone and I didn't have to hear your shit and I could just spend your money.
You should have been in the Navy.
You know what? Yeah, but I mean, eventually you got to come home, and I got kids and everything else, and then like the rubber meets the road, and then you have a whole situation where you're used to being in charge of your team or your squad or your platoon or whatever position you're in, right? And you're a leader, and then you go home and you've got a spouse who's used to being in charge of running the house, and now there's like a little bit of like power struggle, and you have to figure out that dynamic, and you can't always figure it out, but that's what she told me. So I was like, oh, really, I could be gone and you could not spend my money. It would be like kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's a tough subject, but like one thing that I can say for like these young troops is like you're gonna save yourself so much heartache if you hold off on that. You build that sustainable relationship with somebody, and not just use it as a meal ticket to get out of the barracks because you're tired of living in the barracks. Your whole
that's
career.
That's a big part of it. These guys that think that they're going to do exactly that, and it doesn't ever work out that way because you're going to struggle so freaking hard, and they don't understand that. They don't understand that like that little bit of extra money that you get is not going to cover all the extra expenses that you're about to put out because you now have 100%. This partner, and you're doing all the housing thing and the utilities and all the commute back and forth onto base every day and all that kind of shit. I mean, it just adds up so fast. It's unbelievable.
It's not worth it.
It's absolutely
because
not
that's
worth
one of the
it.
things that they were saying. It's like even if you do get married, especially as a young, private or whatever, like you're like there's not enough like housing on these military bases for everybody. I don't think you want to be living on Camp Lejeune anyways, but
well, certainly don't want to drink the water.
Right, yeah.
Everybody's heard about that at this point, so.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's crazy.
It's a bad scene. People need to just try to avoid it altogether. Younger folks, I mean, just take that time and invest in yourself and be the best person that you can be so that you can be the best future partner that you can be, and really build up yourself in your career because you're young. Yeah. And then you can take time to focus on that later when you have other things in order. So, and you don't have to build everything from scratch with somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing I wanted to point out is, young troops, and this is getting way too crazy. It's been a stereotype ever since I've been in. It's been a stereotype ever since you've been in. And it's like, stop buying these piece of shit cars, these Dodge Challengers, these Dodge Chargers at freaking 25% interest.
Yeah.
Get over it. Stop
no kidding
doing it.
It's insane. And what's really tough nowadays is that the interest rates that are coming out now are so freaking high to begin with because the Fed
Yeah.
sets the point, and
Right.
they have to go up from there to make money because
Okay.
they're borrowing.
speaking-
Like banks are borrowing money at a certain rate.
Right. So speaking of the rate, right? We always hear the saying in the military. It's like, oh, you're paying 25% interest for a car. Look what I got, Sarge. You know, just break it down a little bit. Not even a Dodge Challenger V8, $40,000 car. I'm just saying a $20,000 car, right? $20,000 car, sports car, whatever, at 25% interest over 4 years with no money down is $660 a month. Or if you look at it over the cost of that loan, that's $31,000. You're spending an extra $11,000 on that car than what you intended on purchasing that price for.
And that's if you're lucky.
Whenever they see you coming in, they see fresh shave, fresh haircut.
They know you're approved immediately.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
they're going to get you
money for them. Guess what? Those car companies, they set the interest rate. So you might be approved at a 16, 17% interest rate, but they see that you're a new soldier. You don't know any better. So what are they going to do? They're going to add points onto the back end of that for them. That's
Absolutely.
how you get to 28%.
And the additional fees because people are looking at payments and not total price.
Right. And then that's just for a $20,000 car. Think of it, double that. If you're paying $40,000 for a Chevy Camaro or, like I said, a Ford Mustang or a Dodge Challenger or something like that, you're going to be at $40,000 to $50,000 for that car. You're talking double that. You're talking $1,200 a month.
Oh man, and they can get anybody. My nephew is 20 years old and he's got an 800 credit score. The kid is smart. He's always listened to my mom when it comes to financial stuff, and she's kind of a guru with that shit. I wish I'd have listened to her when I was younger. I would be in a different position right now. But here I am, because I don't like to listen to anybody. I like to learn all lessons the hard way. But this kid decided he wanted to go buy himself a car, and just recently he walked into a dealership. He was looking at a 2016 Camaro for $28,000. A 2016, bro. Okay, and now it's an
years old.
It's an 8-year-old. It's an 8-year-old car, and you're looking at a 72-month auto loan. And you know what's going to happen in 6 freaking years? The car's probably not even going to be running because he's a 20-year-old kid and it's a Camaro. Okay.
Okay.
And
wait a minute. What would?
Oh, you got a little APR calculator?
Yeah. Hold on, you said
28,000.
Okay, so it's probably going to be 30 because they're going to tack on
plus fee, plus.
Yeah,
it was going to be like 35 or 37,000 with the fees. Yeah,
it was 37.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. They were jacking the fees out through the roof.
Okay, all right.
And then on top of it, you have because the interest rates are so high, they're even higher for used cars. You can't buy used cars at prime.
Holy crap. Listen to this. Okay.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Okay. So $30,000 base price, $7,000 in fees, probably taxes, titling,
all the shit, all the BS.
Rolled into your loan for 72 months on a used car at 25% interest is $997 a month
for 6 years.
Yeah, but listen to this. All right, this is the trip. This is what I want you soldiers to figure out or find out before you sign on that dotted line. Look at what it's going to cost you over the life of that loan. That car that you're spending $37,000 on, it's probably a warranty and the taxes and stuff like that. That $37,000 purchase over the life of it is going to cost you almost $80,000. Actually, it is. Yeah. Because the total interest for that payment at 25% over that period of time is going to be $34,000.
Holy smokes. It literally doubles the price of the car.
Right. Almost, yeah. You're at, was that 81.7?
Yep. And I know it's not sexy, but you can literally go buy a brand new Corolla and have a warranty that's going to go forever and get free oil changes and all kinds of shit. And it'll run and it'll be so cheap to drive and it'll never break down. Or you can go buy an 8-year-old Camaro and your car's going to break down
Right.
2 years into you paying for it, and you're going to be spending $1,000 a month. And you're going to spend another $300 to $400 a month on full coverage insurance. Congratulations, you played yourself. This is why squad leaders and platoon sergeants are always looking haggard and gray as shit, because they and like my
yeah.
My stepson is an good example of somebody who did his homework. Blake went and he bought a Camaro, and you would have thought, "Oh my God, how stupid!" But he did tons of research, and he actually got himself a really good loan, and he did, and he got a really good interest rate on it, and he set it up so that he can actually afford it. However, 2.5 years into it, I mean, he spent thousands of dollars on repairs on this car because he bought a used Camaro, and it's just what's going to happen. It's what's going to happen. You know, you buy a car like that, you're going to drive it, you're going to break it. He let his friend borrow it, his friend broke it. I mean, it just happens over and over again.
But like I was saying, you know, you can be smart about that. If you're actually saving your money, living in the barracks, you don't get paid crap. If you're an E2, you're making, I don't know. Actually, my nephew's an E1, and he was talking. I think he brings home like 13 every 2 weeks or something like that.
I'd be surprised if it's that much. No, I mean, they're making like $20,000 a year, man.
Yeah,
it's almost nothing.
I mean, it's not much. Yeah, but I mean, if you save that money over 6 months, living at the barracks, living off the system, you can take $10,000 cash that you save over 6 months to a year, because you're going to have little expenses. I mean,
but
hopefully your family's not trying to ride the military train on you.
Well, hopefully not.
Your money.
Hopefully not. But
you should be able to take that money and be able to invest it in a $10,000 car. You can get a $10,000, 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Like you're talking like a Corolla.
You could buy a Corolla. You can buy an Altima. Yeah. Something like that, and you can just get a cheap. You can just get a cheap, economical car, because I don't know. Everybody thinks that they deserve the top of the line, everything right out the gate. They don't want a starter house, and they don't want a starter car, and they don't want to do all that kind of stuff and build up their worth and their wealth. Right. They want it all handed to them right now, which is why they're willing to go take out these huge loans to have this outlandish stuff that they don't really need. Well, but, I mean we're very materialistic as a society anyway, so.
Yeah. But we've seen it a lot in the military, even whenever, you got soldiers come out of basic training and they're going to their AIT. It's like, ooh, guess what? I'm going to get a military star card, and I'm going to buy a laptop. I'm going to buy a TV for my barracks, and I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5 now. And it's like, next thing you know, there's $3,000 worth of debt.
Okay, you know what, though? Get a TV and a PS5, and when you're off work, stay home and quit spending money.
No, get a laptop and learn the skill. Stop being a lazy ass and learn something.
There you go. I mean, that's a better plan. No, sure.
I mean, here's the thing. You can go on to, like, I always advocate for like learning outside of your day-to-day life, right?
Well, you can go to school in the military for free. You can take night classes and go to college for free.
Also, too, if you have any aspect of like wanting to learn anything when it comes up to technology, Google offers a bunch of free schools, and it's like you can go on there and you can just learn stuff from them. It's like, spend your time in doing something.
Right. Well, people don't really want to work for shit anymore, but
yeah, that's true.
But also, you were talking about like stacking up your money and trying to and just living a very Spartan lifestyle and that sort of thing. And that's a great idea up front. But what I didn't know until I had a stepson in the Marines is that they didn't pay for 3 meals a day for those guys. They literally feed them breakfast and lunch, and they're on their own for dinner every night, even when they just live in the barracks. We're talking private
subs in the list.
No, we're talking privates who live in the barracks, and they have to literally fund their own dinner. And that's crazy to me. I never heard some shit like that, because in the Army, we don't do things like that. In the Air Force, I know they don't do things like that, because I was on an Air Force installation. They're eating 3 squares a day for free, for sure. And he was in Cherry Point, North Carolina, and he was... I asked him multiple times. I just could not believe it. It blew my mind. I was like, what? And he's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, we're on our own. I said, no way, man. There's no way.
Whenever you're a single soldier, you're sitting in your barracks anyways, I would say 75% of them are not eating at the DFAC 3 times a day.
I was when I...
You're full of shit.
Oh, dude.
Don't even start that shit. You hit that fucking Chinese truck fucking 3 times a day. I know. I
didn't hit no gut truck that often, but I did like to go. I did like to go get me a donut and a cup of coffee.
Yeah, there you go, Tubby. One more, Tubby.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'd hit the Chinese place a lot.
Okay, you look like you did. Don't lie.
Kung Pao Kitty.
yeah. You don't know what the hell that is. Yeah, Trevor's gonna bark at you when you open the lid.
Save your money.
What's in this?
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. If you're a young soldier in the military just recently, save your money. Dakota, save your money. Don't spend it. Don't be foolish. He was talking about getting his truck to his first duty station. Listen up. You're probably not going to be in the States, first of all. You're probably going to South Korea, because he put that as his option for his international. Guess what? You're probably going to South Korea.
Right.
I don't care if you put Fort Hood, Texas. Guess what? You're probably going to South Carolina or South Korea.
Yeah, and most of these younger guys, like they don't have a form of transportation, anyways. You get your vehicle there, and you're just going to turn into the base taxi.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That stuff gets old.
He'll be all right though. He's a smart kid. Sometimes.
I don't know if anybody ever said that about me, but good for him.
Well, we're still not.
Yeah, nobody's saying it nowadays. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. There was some little bit of stuff that you wanted to talk about. You said you had something that you wanted to bring up. It's a little different topic than the 2 that we were talking about whenever it comes to personal stuff. This is more like globally, well, not globally, but statewide, well, countrywide. So go ahead with what you
so I just saw this letter today that had been signed by 20 attorney generals, state attorney generals, and they are saying that 5.56 ammo, 5.56 millimeter, should be limited to military use, quote unquote. They're trying to say that basically,
a little bit closer.
They're saying ammo from Lake City is manufactured for military use and does not belong in our communities. And they're just going into a whole list of reasons. In the short term, they're asking the office to investigate the contracting and manufacturing practices that led to so many billions of military-grade rounds being sold into our communities, and to a public report with recommendations about how to end the diversion of military ammunition into civilian hands. And they're asking the White House to ensure that future production contracts prohibit the sale of military weapons and ammo to civilians. So this is concerning because there are only a couple of places that manufacture primers, and there's only a handful of places that manufacture ammunition in the United States on the regular, that we have had all kinds of issues with production, not just related to COVID and logistics, but with raw materials, access to raw materials, and access to facilities being able to operate at full volume. And so we've reduced our production over the years dramatically. And then what they want to do is they want to limit our access to it altogether, and it's going to just it's the whole slippery slope argument where eventually they're going to limit the amount of ammunition you can have and then the type of ammunition you can have. And then eventually they're going to say you can't have any ammunition whatsoever. And the whole thing with the 5.56 is it's a scapegoat. Yeah. And because most murders that happen on U.S. soil are with handguns. They're handguns. Right. They're 9mm. And they're 45, and they're 380, and they're 38. So it's just a scapegoat, and they've got a listing of a few instances that happened with mass shootings, and we're talking. They listed out 6 mass shootings that used AR-15s that shoot 5.56mm rounds. That's nothing. I mean, it's not nothing. It's not nothing, but it's a very small amount. And limiting and banning 5.56 was not going to stop those mass shooters. It's just not. It's just not. So it's just a big scary black rifle thing, right?
I think it's a stepping stone for them. If they could start here. They start here at 5.56, then they move to shotgun.
Right, they're going to push it as far as they can.
Yeah, it's just a stepping stone for them. And how many of those are like liberal states that actually sign that?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at California, Hawaii, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Vermont, New York, blue states. Yeah. And some that weren't blue states in the past, now they are, like Arizona. Arizona used to be a red state.
Probably Colorado.
Let's see. Oop. I can pull it back up and tell you exactly who it was. Yeah, Arizona, Illinois, Maryland. Yeah, this shit goes to sleep, man. What can you say? Yeah. Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Maine, Delaware. Oregon, Vermont, Washington, Rhode Island, and New Mexico. I mean, these are places that, they're trying to do everything they can to limit your rights to begin with. Yeah. And to tell you can't buy a certain type of ammunition. Well, I mean, if you really want to protect people, then provide them with actual firearms training.
Yeah.
That's my argument. That's a lot of people's arguments. And in places like in Missouri, where people were able to start carrying weapons and defend themselves, then I think they've actually shown over time that some violent crimes have been stopped in the act because people were not allowing themselves to become victims.
Yeah. No, so, I 100% agree.
And that just recently passed in Florida, where the constitutional carry in Florida.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Just now? Recently?
Just recently, yeah. It was just this past year.
That's kind of surprised because Missouri's been on that forefront for a while.
Right. Well, we had it in Missouri. We had a governor at the time who was very pro-gun, and there was just some allegations that came out about him and about his history, which
well, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into it.
We don't have to get into it. I want to so bad.
I know you do.
That's I think Greitens should have stuck around.
Whatever. Let's move past that. That ship has sailed.
It's long gone. Long gone.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud. Okay. Sorry, bud.
Well, back to the whole ammo thing. Yeah, that's pretty shitty. I don't think they have enough support if they only got 22. Guess what? The right side of things will prevail. I don't think that's anything that's going to catch traction.
It's weird. It's a clear divide, though. I mean, there's over 25 states have constitutional carry now, and now you've got 20 states who are trying to basically just stand their ground, and there's just more and more clear divide in our country. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Yeah. So
this is one thing that I found right before we went on. It literally popped up as a news article on mine, updated January 10th. I guess it popped up at 9 Eastern, but my phone just registered it.
Hmm.
National Guard soldier charged with murder for hire plot to avenge his mother's death 8 years after she was killed by a driver. A National Guard soldier from North Carolina tried to hire a hitman and purchase multiple guns in an elaborate plot to kill a man who fatally struck his mom's car nearly 8 years ago.
Wow, man,
Brett
he just was not
Michael
going to let go of
Baldwin.
that grudge.
No. I mean, 22 years old, arrested in Fort Liberty, which is Bragg, uh, formerly known as Bragg. It'll still be Bragg. Soliciting and commit first degree murder of Donald Clowder Jr. Um, Barlow
Dang.
allegedly tried to hire a hitman end of November of 23 to kill Clowder. According to his arrest, issued on January 1st and obtained by I got this from the Post, New York Post. Same day he attempted to hire a hitman, he tried to purchase an AR-15. There you go. Prosecutors revealed. He also requested a transfer to an army post closer to where Clowder was living.
Mm.
Let's see where Lake Forest claimed life of Clowder. Clowder was driving a dump truck when he failed to slow down and slammed into the back end of this kid's mother. I mean, that's sad. 29-year-old arrested and charged with misdemeanor death of a motor vehicle.
So
He
he
pled
was
guilty,
basically
served 10 months.
he killed the soldier's mother in an
Yeah,
accident. An accident,
I mean the
wasn't it?
kid.
He didn't
He just
intentionally. He didn't
yeah.
intentionally strike
Well,
the vehicle with intent to kill. Is what I'm gathering.
no, so apparently this guy was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor death by vehicle. He pled guilty and charged with 10 months uh, to 10 months later changed to 12 months of probation with a suspended sentence. Authorities believe the driver's fatigue or distraction caused the fatal car accident. So, I
It's
mean, the guy was charged for it.
very unfortunate
Yeah,
incident.
but I
But
mean,
to go back and want to, I understand. I can understand that the soldier probably carried a lot of pain, losing his mother and everything. But
yeah.
vengeance
I
is only
mean,
going to
this
take it
is
so
a
far.
critical point. Yeah, critical point in this kid's life. Apparently, his mom was a teacher at the high school. At the time he was 14. It sounds like. I mean, the wreckage looks horrible. Holy crap! Like dump truck.
I
Can't even
mean, it's
tell
a
what the
dump
car
truck.
was.
You're
Yeah,
just gonna flatten a
loaded with
car.
logs. Yeah,
You're dead. You're dead. There's nothing
and
you can
it's
do.
one of those things. It's like
That thing
you
doesn't
know,
stop.
yeah,
Whew.
but more onto the fact of like on the soldiers. It's like this is why we're kind of doing this kind of thing. Is like this kid had a lot of problems growing up. Losing his mom in a pivotal time in his life. At the age of 14. That's where a lot of like a boy's development happens,
Hmm.
especially on the side of um, you know integrity, motivation, and self awareness and stuff like that. Going through that puberty stage, and it's like to have something tragic like this happen. This is kind of like why we're here. Is like for him, you know, something should have been done beforehand. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. But I mean,
counseling was probably
mental
yeah,
health is largely ignored in this country, especially for men and young
yeah,
men. And
hmm
usually, unfortunately, one of the very few advocates that young men have in their lives are their mothers. His was
yeah,
gone.
yeah,
So whoever was supposed to be looking out for this young man totally dropped the ball. He should have been
yeah.
going through years of grief counseling and everything else. I can't
hmm
imagine how hard that must have been. And then he's made some bad choices because of his experiences. And
yeah,
that's what leads us to this point is the mental health system has failed us as a society. We failed him.
yeah. And this is something that I hope he uh, gets help for. Trying to kill somebody that killed your mother. Retaliation you know is very hard to deal with, and hopefully he does get the help he needs.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Well,
yeah.
unfortunately, he's probably going to spend a lot of time
A
behind
little bit of time
bars,
alone. Yeah.
like working through these issues, and he's going to probably carry
Yeah.
a lot of anger and hatred for a long time, and residually.
I mean,
Dang, that's rough. Woo,
hopefully
that's a
not.
rough one.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, man. Whenever we were talking about,
It does remind
coming
me
on
of a
the air tonight.
story. Does remind me of a story from a few years ago of a National Guard soldier who tried to found a customer on a message board who turned out to be a police officer looking for someone to basically like a murder for hire thing, and they were looking for a hitman, and this guy was using his National Guard service as a resume on a message board to sell
No.
his services as a hitman. He was like explaining
No.
why basic training in
Oh,
AIT gave him the skills necessary to be a freaking
oh,
killer for hire, and he went to prison. It's like, dude, he was actively seeking it out. Like, I think he maybe had some
no.
kind of, I think he had some kind of fantasy. He was
Man.
actively seeking it out. It was crazy. But I mean, you see weird stuff happen when people in uniform, all different walks of life. We hear about some of the
Yeah.
National Guard shit because we were the Guard, and then.
Yeah.
But and also, I mean, we hear about crazy stories from all the different branches just because of the pages that I follow and stuff like that. You're going to hear some wild stuff from some veterans and everything. The whole veteran community is fantastic. I love it because we're so wide open about shit. I mean, so you got to talk about some of this oddball stuff because it'll just eat you up if you don't.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of civilians are just in denial. They look at they you get that like weird twisted sense of humor, and some of the stuff that we talk about is really morbid and dark. And I think a lot of people are just in denial, and they don't want to approach shit from like a very real, like visceral perspective. Is like get your hands in it and get your hands dirty, or you go, this is real life. This is kind of the sort of stuff that you think about, stuff that you go through, your experiences. You have to process it somehow. Other people can really help you with that, or
sure, yeah,
or they can look at you like you're just a sick and twisted person who needs help, and it's like, yeah, I need help. Of course, I need help. We're all saying we need help.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, like especially when it comes to terms of help, like we've been talking about, I know whenever we did a walkthrough a couple weeks ago on this, whenever we, setting up our, virtual kind of atmosphere to where you were down there and I'm up here, we talked a little bit about like getting out there and using the resources that are available to us, especially when it comes to like VFWs, AMVETS, American Legion, stuff like that. If you're a veteran and you're struggling mentally, trapped inside of your own demons and you need some help, those are always a great asset, because those are people that are like us. Those are people that have been in the situations that we've been in. Maybe not the exact same situation as we, each individual person has been in. Nobody's been in those situations. You're the only person that's been in that situation. But reaching out to some of those organizations are a good way that you can, try to find help, because I know, like, I'm in American Legion. Well, we're in American Legion. And our American Legion is housed at a VFW post. It's kind of a dual post, but we do have a lot of resources available that are always posted for service members that are having problems dealing with mental illness and stuff like that. So just try to go to those organizations and see what they can do to try to help you, because I know that there's a lot of members in there that do care and want
absolutely, and
services.
I think a big aspect of that needs to be said is that a lot of veterans, like current and former service members, they really feel alone. I mean, it's like a common theme you hear over and over again. Especially once you get out and you're just out in the world on your own and you don't have your battle buddies around you anymore. You're just alone and you feel isolated, and you can work yourself into a bubble, and you got to fight to get out of it. You got to get back into the community in some kind of meaningful way. Joining the Legion, that was a big thing. That was awesome. For me, meeting, a lot of the guys were much older, but they were very cool. They were understanding. They were open and communicative, and they just want to create a positive environment, and they want to support people. They want to support people in any way that they can. And I love that. But you have to kind of get out of your own little bubble and get back into the community in some kind of way. And there's so many great ways that people do it. I see Sergeant Mac going and doing ruck marches like every freaking day, just about. He's doing ruck marches with his dogs and stuff, and then he goes and does big group ruck marches, and I think that is so freaking cool. And there's a lot of people. There's so many different organizations, and then there's a lot of events that happen and stuff. And if you're a veteran and financially, you have an issue with paying for membership or for the participation fee or whatever it is, if it's a specific event. If you're a veteran, most of the time you can get that fee waived or taken care of by another not-for-profit group like the Legion or the VFW or whatever. Yep. So it's just 100%. A matter of opening up and, stepping outside of your little comfort zone and that little box you put yourself into to be a part of the community. I mean, for me, it's, I go to the gym and I feel like I have a handful of regulars that I see all the time, and there's some guys that I work out with regularly, and that's been a huge positive impact for me because we support each other. We have that support network, and there's some accountability there, and we are positively pushing each other forward all the time. And I hear, when I did CrossFit for a little while. CrossFit gyms are the same way, where it's like it becomes like a community. Everybody's pushing each other forward, and in a positive way, and that's great. And you pointed me in the direction of the Roaming Vets Facebook group, and that has been really cool because I don't know how much you've spent looking at that or participating in that, but this Roaming Vets Facebook page is set up basically for every state. They had a huge push, and they blew up. I don't know how. I don't know what the woman who does it was retired from the Air Force. She's medically retired from the Air Force, and she's smart with marketing, I guess, and got the name out and got some folks to spread the word. And now it's become this big, huge community, and it's nationwide. There's people from all over the place, all different branches of the military, and they have messenger Facebook chats from every different state. And maybe not every state, but a lot of states. Florida has one. There are people planning events to go surfing together, to go hiking, to go shooting, to just to get together for happy hour. And it's fantastic. It's totally cool because it's a whole new community of people that you would never ever meet on the street. Yeah. For the most part. And it's just through social media. It's fantastic. I love it. Yeah. So shout out to those folks. Yeah. They're doing a great job.
Shout out to them. Yeah, they do a great thing. That was one of the things that with, I know like my Veterans Day, I spend a good portion of the morning and I do a ruck march around JB, Jefferson Barracks down here in St. Louis. And, I've done that every year for the last couple of years. And, it's kind of inspiring for me. But as we're about to wrap up the show, let's move a little bit past that. Since it is the new year, I wanted to give us a couple seconds to talk before we do the wrap up on like kind of what like 2 of your New Year's resolutions are. I'll give 2, you give 2, and then we'll do final thoughts, and then we'll close out.
All right, you can go first.
Okay, so I think um, for myself, I'm liking where I'm at with my personal business, and I'm looking to grow. One of my New Year's resolutions is for this year to um, do 25% more in the business aspect than what I did this year or this past year, and like I think that's going to happen. I'm kind of setting myself up for the business side of it. That's something that we're going to talk about a little bit later in later episodes. It might be just solo episodes. I'm not sure yet. But we have been talking about bringing somebody on to help with like a financial assistance for like veteran or not financial assistance but financial guidance for veterans to start their own business, because that's something that we want to help promote, getting more um, veteran small business owners out there, the better. And then also another one is like I want to drop 20 pounds this year. I want to get on it, you know, uh, do a little bit more exercising, try to get, a little bit better shape. I know round's a shape, but maybe get a little less round. But that's kind of my goals for the
Awesome.
podcast. Like I said, I want to get it to where we're dropping at least two episodes a month, if not
Mm-hmm.
more. I want
Yep, definitely.
two episodes a month is a goal. If we do more than that, if we're doing, 3 or 4 episodes, especially if we branch off, do something else, hey, let's go. But yeah. So I guess I gave you three. So you have to give me
Excellent.
three now.
Okay. Oh, I got to give you three now. Well, mine
Yeah.
are way more kind of basic and generic. They're a lot less specific. Uh, I was blessed with having a little bit more time to walk this earth, and nobody's guaranteed tomorrow, and I've kind of taken that to heart. And so, one of the main things that I've made as a goal of mine is to just live every day in gratitude and gratefulness. So I try to make that an everyday focus. I try and wake up with that attitude, and it just helps set my mood for the day. People are always
Yeah.
asking me, how do you keep going forward with all those stuff that you've been through and everything like that? And it's a my whole perception in life has changed. It's just gratitude. And so that's
Yeah.
my number one focus. It's my New Year's resolution is to just maintain like positivity and gratitude in my everyday life. And um, I do want to travel more, and but I don't really have specific goals when it comes to traveling more. I want to experience more of the world because I have more time here to experience the world, and I want to experience more just outside of my own little bubble of
Yeah.
comfort. And I want to go back to riding a motorcycle.
There you go. That's a good
This
one.
year. That's a big, like, very real concrete goal for me. Doesn't have to
Yeah.
be necessarily just on two wheels. If I end up riding a trike or a motorcycle with sidecar, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Um, my bike is a long way from being fixed,
Yeah.
but it's a very real goal for me. It's one of my, and I have never set New Year's resolutions, so this is just goals, and it's just things that I've thought about as the new year rolled over. I've never had success with New Year's resolutions, so I abandoned that a long time ago. So, as
Yeah.
an example, December of 2021, or no, December of 22, I guess now it's 24. So, December of 2022, I quit smoking 3 weeks before the new year started because
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be a New Year's resolution that I would fail. And
Yeah.
I'm still not smoking. So, I guess that worked. So just set goals. It doesn't have to be for the new year. And it's just the new
Yeah.
year's passed. We're only 10 days in.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's not too late. Wake up every day with gratitude and just think of 3 reasons that you are grateful, things that you're grateful for, or grateful to be alive, or whatever, what have you,
Yeah.
and just go from
Well,
there. That's all you have to do.
100% agree, man.
That's all you got to do.
All right. Well, Let's see. We're at a good time to maybe
Yeah,
put this to bed.
that was a good conversation today.
Yeah,
I appreciate your time, Johnny. It was
yeah,
fantastic, and I'm
Um,
super excited we're able to make this thing happen. And the reason we are is because Johnny put a lot of effort into getting me set up because I'm not the technology guy. Johnny's the tech guru between us. He's the
well,
SME.
limited. I wouldn't say that I'm in the major tech guru. I think I
Comparatively,
have
you are.
skills. Yeah,
Let's
I
be
have
real.
skills. I'm not. I'm
Like,
learning a lot of this on the fly. So
yeah, I operate in like a very analog world where it's like it's naturally aspirated, carbureted,
dial tone, spin dial.
handheld, shoulder fired, gas operated. I don't do
Yeah,
all the technology stuff, but I love it. This is great. It's so cool to be able to do this.
yeah. So I want to thank all of you that are watching this in the future. Not right now because we're just recording it. Look forward to doing live episodes. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about the show, you can go ahead and tag us in the YouTube or on the Rumble. That's where we're going to be posting both of them. Uh, I'm working on trying to find a platform that we can use to where we can go live with the Rumble side, because the Rumble side we can maybe get a little bit more controversial. The YouTube side we have to be a little bit more
A little more
abstaining
PC.
from. Yeah, a little bit more PC. So I'm looking into both of those. So um, if you guys have any, like I said, comments or concerns, hit us up. Um, if you're a prior service member and you're struggling with talking to somebody, you can always hit us up on our socials. Mine is
Please do.
at Tactically Repaired on Instagram. You can hit me up from there. Um, what's yours now?
All new Patrick Swayze
Okay.
at
Yep. All new Patrick Swayze.
Instagram. Yep.
Tactically Repaired. You can hit us up. We'd love to talk to you guys. Don't suffer in silence. Be about the next steps. And we look forward to talking at you guys next time. Have a good one.
Love you guys.